Hi, I'm Eje.
And I'm Heather. We're the co-hosts of the spooky,
Terrifying,
frightful podcast, English as a Scary Language.
Actually, this is a special Halloween edition of our podcast, English as a Singing Language.
That's right. We've got a special Halloween-themed, pronunciation-focused song from the 1960s for this episode.
Well, I love Halloween, and I love pronunciation, and I love the 1960s.
Me too. I can't wait to talk about this song.
I know. I'm so excited about it.
Let's get started.
Oh, hi, Heather. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Eje. I love your costume. Did you make it yourself?
Yes, I decided to be a jellyfish this year.
You look great. I'm a witch every year. I wear a pointed black hat and this dress, and suddenly I'm a scary witch.
You don't look scary, and you're handing out chocolate, so nobody could be scared of you.
Giving out candy does help. I really enjoy Halloween.
Me too. You know, the origins of Halloween go back to the Celtic celebrations to protect people from death.
Over the years, the celebrations changed a lot.
The Irish immigrants who came to the United States in the 1800s brought the holiday here.
Now, Halloween is celebrated by children and adults.
People dress up in costumes and carve faces on pumpkins to make jack-o'-lanterns.
And on Halloween night, children go out and ask for candy from their neighbors by saying, "Trick or treat."
Halloween is so much fun, and we have a silly Halloween novelty song from the 1960s for this episode.
A novelty song? What does that mean?
In this case, it means a song that is built on some special piece of American culture.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
It is. In the early 1960s, there were a lot of crazy dances that people did. There was the locomotion.
And there was the hitchhiker and the pony.
And there were two dances that are mentioned in this song, the twist and the mashed potato.
Those sound so funny now, but I think I see where you're going with this.
Yep, we're talking about the 1962 hit song by Bobby Borris Pickett and his bandmate Leonard Capizzi, the Monster Mash.
I get it. So the dance is like the mashed potato, but with monsters, the Monster Mash.
Dee Dee Sharp, one of the backup singers you'll hear in the song, said this about the Monster Mash, quote, "They did the mash like they were monsters. They just did the mash like the mashed potato, only they did it with their arms flinging and making all kinds of crazy moves. I think that's the only way you can say that that was the Monster Mash."
Wow. So we can sing and dance to this one.
Not only that, there are also a lot of examples of the pronunciation of the A vowel sound in English.
English vowel sounds can get a little confusing.
That's true. For example, sometimes the A sound says its name.
The A says its name? What do you mean?
For example, in the word late, the letter A is pronounced A.
Okay, I get it now. What is another way that the vowel A is pronounced?
In this song, there are many examples of the A pronunciation of A.
I usually think of that as a sound you might hear more in American English than British English.
I agree. You and I would say apple.
But you might say apple in British English.
There's a good example already. Let's take a look at the lyrics of the song.
Okay, so the song is telling the story of Dr. Frankenstein and the monster he created.
Except that this monster likes to dance.
Right. The lyrics start, "I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight."
There's the A pronunciation in lab and the A pronunciation in late.
And there's also a good Halloween vocabulary word, eerie.
eerie means strange or frightening.
Like, I heard an eerie sound late at night and I felt scared.
Yes. In the next lines, we have, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash.
Slab, began, and mash all have the low, wide ah sound.
And a slab is a thick rectangular piece of stone or concrete.
The monster comes alive and starts to do the monster mash dance.
Right. And then in the chorus, they sing, "It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash."
If something is a smash, it's a great success.
Like, we hope the podcast will be a smash.
Yes, and in a flash means very quickly.
I could say I got all my work done in a flash.
I wish that were true for me.
Me too. There are some good examples of the ah vowels in the next lines too. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast.
I heard laboratory, castle, and master. They all have the ah sound.
Those are great examples. And what is a vampire, Heather?
You might see a few of those if you are out trick-or-treating tonight. A vampire is a special kind of monster. A vampire is an undead human that drinks blood.
That sounds extremely scary.
Don't worry, they're not real vampires. They're just people in vampire costumes.
I hope so. The line continues, "The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes."
Okay, there's an A in came, but what is a humble abode?
An abode is another word for a house. So my not very fancy, not very big, very humble house.
And a jolt from an electrode? What's that?
A jolt is a zap of electricity, and the electrode is what catches or conducts the electricity.
Oh, like the metal things sticking out of the neck of Frankenstein's monster. Electrodes.
Exactly.
The song continues. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun.
I heard "ah" in had.
Yes, and zombies are another popular Halloween monster.
Zombies are pretty scary. A zombie is a dead person brought back to life.
Yes, pretty scary, but not if they're dancing, right?
Right. It sounds like there were even more monsters at this party. The next line is, "The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking. All were digging the sounds."
More practice with Wolfman and Dracula.
Wolfman turns from a human into a wolf at the full moon, right?
Yes, and Dracula is a very famous vampire. By the way, what does it mean to be digging something? We don't say that now, do we?
No, remember this song is from the 1960s. Back then, if you said, "I really dig this song," it meant you really liked it, that you were into it.
Cool. I dig it.
And in the next line, we have Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds.
Who is Igor?
Igor was Dr. Frankenstein's assistant. He helped to create Frankenstein's monster.
Okay. And baying has the A sound. A baying hound is a dog that is making the eerie ooh, ooh, ooh sound.
The last lines where we can see examples of "ah" are, "Now everything's cool, Drax a part of the band, and my monster mash is the hit of the land."
Yes, I heard Drax, band, and land.
And this song was the hit of the land, you know?
Really?
Yes, it was a smash hit. It was #1 on the Billboard charts for 2 weeks in October of 1962.
Wow, that's great. Well, there's just one more line. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?"
The twist is one of the popular dances from the 60s that we talked about earlier.
Right. It's a dance that is just what it sounds like. You twist your arms and your waist and your hips in time with the music.
But while Dracula was in his coffin, the twist dance fad had been replaced by the mash, the monster mash.
Well, that's what happens over time. Fads fade.
But the monster mash lives on.
You're right. The Monster Mash gets played every year at Halloween. If you go to a Halloween party, you will hear it for sure.
And you'll be able to sing along with the lyrics.
Which I think we're ready to do now.
I think so too.
Okay, listeners, we've put a link to the official lyrics video in the episode notes.
Don't worry, it's a cute cartoon video. You won't see any scary monsters.
That's good. Don't forget to sing out loud as you listen.
And while you sing, you can also do the mash. Do the monster mash. It's a graveyard smash. Well, I am definitely ready for Halloween after hearing that song.
Even after 60 years, Monster Mash is still a great Halloween song.
It sure is. Are you ready for the children to trick or treat at your house?
I am. I have lots of candy and I'm in my scary witch costume.
I'm ready too. Halloween is the one day every year where you can have fun dressing up as somebody else.
And this year we can sing and dance too.
Exactly. Let's also invite our listeners to check out the resources on our website.
And like and subscribe to the podcast.
That way you'll know as soon as we release a new episode.
You can follow us on Instagram at Singing Languages.
Until next time, have fun and just keep singing.